So today I want to talk about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So we've all heard and we all, have an idea of what the subconscious mind is and what the conscious mind is. And what the conscious mind is it's the mind that we think with. It's when we're awake. It's what, what the function that we have that we're able to use with thought. All of the decisions that we consciously make, and then the subconscious mind, that is the mind that is in the background. It's kind of running your, kind of like your operating system. And what's interesting is the subconscious mind, it doesn't have feelings. Like our conscious mind is the mind that gives us our feelings. Our feelings come out through our conscious mind, but the subconscious mind has no feelings. It has no right or wrong. There's no moral compass, anything like that. Your subconscious mind is just your subconscious mind. It has one purpose. Well, it has a lot of purposes, but it's it's just to get things done. So if we take this all the way back to, think about when we're created, like everybody knows how babies are made, but when the baby is starting to form, to really think about that, like a piece of mom, piece of dad, get together, and then how do all these complex systems, how are we created, right? Like there's just so many perfect systems within ourselves that those can't just happen by chance, just by a commingling of basically bodily fluids. I mean, how does that create into something like a human? And it's one of those where it's, to me, it's something that you really can't explain, because it's such a high level on such a perfect, level that it's. And then what I'm getting at is that's where that's the beginning of the subconscious mind. Because if you think about what our subconscious mind does after you're born, well, your subconscious mind is the one that regulates, your heart, makes sure your heart is beating. It's, your breathing, all the things that we do without having to think about it. And when we're sleeping, all of that is the subconscious mind at work. So, it works, it does what it knows it needs to do, but it's like, well, how does it learn to do that? Well, it just does. Like it's just one of those things. So your subconscious mind, it's never late, it's always doing what it has to do. It's very regimented. I mean, it just has to be, or you'll stop breathing, because to have to consciously think, I need to take a breath in, take a breath out, that's, we'd all die, because we have to sleep. And when we sleep, we're not using our conscious mind. So the subconscious mind has a very crucial role in just our everyday function. And then you start to think about, when you get a cut, right? And then you get a scab and it heals over. Well, how does that happen? Like what forms and what creates that is a question. And that points back to you're the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is able to heal you. It is able to do anything that it needs to do, because it's pre-programmed to do certain things, to make you breathe, to heal cuts. It's pre-programmed for whatever, to do those things, and it does it just perfectly. And that same subconscious mind that does that is what is living out our beliefs that we have given it. Because again, it's your subconscious mind, it doesn't know right from wrong, good or from bad. It just knows that you as a person, if we tell it and we have a feeling and we say, this is really what I want, and you really believe that and you really want it, well, your subconscious mind is going to take that and it's going to do whatever it needs to do to make sure that those things that you're thinking about, no, not necessarily wanting, but whatever it is that you're picturing and playing out in your mind, your subconscious mind is going to go and do whatever is required to get that to you. And it does it perfectly. Like it never fails. It fails the same way that it would fail, like with your breathing. It just doesn't. It's just what it does. So when we repeatedly, have negative thoughts, or, let's talk about, maybe it's money. Maybe it's always, A big thing is to say, well, I can't afford that. I don't have the money for that. And sometimes we'll say that even though we actually do have the money. It's just when we say that, regardless whether we have the money or not, the subconscious mind hears that. I don't have the money. And that's what you're telling yourself. That's what you believe. So your subconscious mind is going to do whatever it has to do to make sure that what you say and what you believe is true. Because everything that you say and everything that you believe is the truth to your subconscious mind. Again, it doesn't know right from wrong or what you really want from what you don't want. So just as easy as you can say that, and then bring in sadness and negativity into your life. The more that you ponder on it and the more that you think about all of the negative things that you don't like, you talk about, I don't like it when this or that, or, you just sit there and you think about these horrible things that are occurring, to other people even. And if you find yourself constantly thinking about that and having those images in your mind, well, what you're actually doing is you're placing those images and those thoughts onto your subconscious mind. And what your subconscious mind does is exactly what it's there and pre-programmed to do, is to make sure that whatever is your truth comes out in your life. So if you don't want your truth to be negativity and poverty and sadness, then you need to get all of that out of your mind as the truth. And that's all, that cannot be your truth. You have to hold your truth to the things that you want. And everything else just, it just is what it is. You take the good and then, accept things as they are and then let the rest go. And understand that, you're the only person that can do this for yourself. That your significant other, the people in your life, your mother, your father, your grandparents, nobody can do this for you. People can help you, they can guide you, they can encourage you, but it all comes down to you having to do it for yourself. And and it's not hard. You don't have to look far for the proof of it. If you really take a real good look inside of yourself, really think about the things that you believe and what you hold dear to yourself and what you think about most of the time. And then you're going to see that that's exactly what you have in your life, is the things that you think about regularly, because the things that you think about regularly are the things that are impressed onto your subconscious mind. So those are the things that are showing up in your life. And to understand that, you can go the completely opposite way. You can think about the things that are good in life, the things that you want, and believe those that they're yours and that you can have them. But it can't be from a shallow sense of it has to be the same type of real feeling that with the good stuff that you feel with the negative or whatever it is that you think about now and that you have in your life now. Think about how you think about those things. How do you approach those from a thought perspective, when you talk about things? If you take and look at it from that way, you think the same way about the good stuff that you want. And then all you have to do is think about it that way, and then you'll start to attract those things. And it could be different for different people. It's really just understanding at the base of it, and a way to really understand how it's going to work for you is to, again, man, just really take a true look at your thought processes, the way that you feel about things, and take a look at your life and figure out what thinking that you have now that you are living in your life, that you have in front of you. And then the same way you think about that, change and think about the things that you want. And then you're going to get it. I mean, that's just the way that all this works. And it seems almost elementary, it seems almost too easy. But really, when the rubber meets the road in this stuff, we get so ingrained with, the way that things have just gone. And that's the way, that's our comfort level. Our lives that we have, we're used to that, whether we like it or not, right? Like, we may want to change, but we don't change because it's hard. It's hard to change your thinking when, you have to change what you believe despite what you see in your life. And that's where it's hard, because you see all these things in your life that you've created from your past, and to tell yourself that things are different than that, that's where it gets hard. And that's why, while this idea is extremely simple and easy, it's not that easy and simple to do, because you have to break the habits that you have. Anything that you don't like in your life, you have to go against that in your own mind, and you have to remember to do that, and remember that you don't want to do that, and it's hard. It's hard to remember to stay on track, but once you're able to get past the hump of remembering, and it's going to be different for everybody. For me, in order to get past that, I just had to submerge myself in reading and just learning everything that I can about this subject of, personal enlightenment, and on my journey to fulfillment, I've realized, and I've made it a habit, I have formed habits that I intentionally bring positivity into my life on a daily basis. I have formed those habits, and through those habits, I get more and more positivity, and the more positive things. And when you develop these habits and you're looking at your life through these different lenses, and these good things start to happen, you're going to know that this is happening because of you're changing. And when you see the fruits of the things after you start to change, that's where it starts to become easier, because it's like, oh, well, wow, this really is working. Like, I just want to keep doing it, because, just little by little, step by step, I start thinking differently. I start getting different things in my life. And then once it really grabs hold, you realize that anything really is possible for anybody. And now, all I really want to do is I want to read about it. I want to work at it. I want to talk to you about it. I'll talk to anybody about it. And it's really because it can change the world. Like, there's so much bad, like, negativity that goes on in the world. And, we all have the power within ourselves to change all that. And it's just, we're just so conditioned in just the kind of the way that life has drawn us. It's brought us down, and we all live in our own cages, our own prisons that we put ourselves in, because we don't, for whatever reason, we just don't, I don't know. I mean, it's, for me, when I look back, I just didn't know. I mean, 100%, I guess I just didn't realize that I had that kind of a power within my own mind. And that's probably the answer going to be for the majority of the people, is we don't realize that we had this power to change within ourselves. And while and a lot of people surely would like to change, and it's a really nice idea to change. And when you think about it, it's very, it's very fun. It's a fun idea. It's an exciting idea to change. But when we meet that first roadblock of our lives that we have created for ourselves, it's like, yeah, do we really want to change? No, it's just easy. Let's just go back and let's just go with the flow. And then we forget that we were trying to change. And for me in my life, looking back, I understand that was because I didn't want to change myself. I was changing for external factors. External reasons were driving my desire to change. And those can't be. Like, the desire to change has to come from within you. Or it's going to be, an extremely hard uphill battle to try to change because of, what somebody thinks of you, or some other type of external factor. That's not going to be a true, lasting, meaningful change. All the changes that we should be doing are for ourselves. And once you start to look inside yourself and reflect on, who you want to be, who you are, where you want to go in your life, you'll realize, and you'll start to get those answers of what you really want. And then from there, just start to tell yourself, the affirmations. That's something that I'm starting to understand. Previously I really didn't think much about, like, affirmations, but the deeper I get into understanding the subconscious mind, the more I realize that these affirmations that we tell ourselves, you have to believe them. You can't just be lip service. You can't just say words and expect for them to change. You have to find some way to attach those words to a meaning. So with me, this is a newer development for me. So I'm starting to try in my rituals, my routines that I do. I'll sit there and I'll really exude positivity and send love to people. So what I'm trying to do is with these affirmations is work it into that, to at the same time where I'm in that positive mindset and really, putting out the good energy, I'm going to start to bring those affirmations in. And then I think, and if I'm correct, that will start really pounding it into my subconscious mind. Because the sooner that we can get these affirmations and these thoughts and these beliefs imprinted onto our subconscious mind, the sooner that we're going to start getting these things out in our real life. Because again, the subconscious mind is what creates everything that we see in our life. So I want to thank you for checking out the video, and I hope there was something that I had said that kind of sticking with you. And by all means, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'll get them answered. And thanks for checking it out.